All right, everyone, welcome. We are live. Sunny Days Media Football Show, Black Friday edition. Obviously, didn't do a Thursday show yesterday. Turkey Day, national holiday, family time. So, priorities. Jerry,
Absolutely. How
some
we
good
doing?
games. Some good games yesterday. Some clunkers. The first one, 12:30 game, absolute disaster.
Yeah, I lost everything on that game, dude. That was tough.
Yeah, yeah, that was a disaster. I'll definitely. I'm gonna be doing the post game show probably tomorrow with Paul. Maybe we might get Pat in. So I'm not gonna go crazy into depth. Um, Lions lose 29-22, but it was never really that close. Packers dominated start to finish. The game was won and lost in the trenches. What the Lions have prided themselves on all season and really second half of last season was top three offensive line play, great run blocking, great pass blocking. Yesterday we didn't see any of that. They were able to run block. They ran the ball really well, but no offensive rhythm. The concern is so I'm in a position with the Lions where am I panicked? No. Right? Like we're 8-3. If you told me Thanksgiving you're going to be 8-3, 1,000%, I would take that. The sky's not falling. That being said, is Jared Goff the best quarterback? No, I never thought he was. But one of the things that Jared did really well throughout his career, even at Jared's bad points, was Jared took care of the football. Didn't turn it over, didn't throw it into high traffic areas, held on to it when he got sacked. Yesterday, the game before, complete opposite. The guys turned the ball over 5 times in 2 games. That's a concern. His line gave him no help. He had no time to throw.
I felt like he was scrambling on every single play. He's
Yeah.
running for his life.
Well, and as much as I could get mad at the line, like who I'm really upset with here overall yesterday was the coaching staff. The Lions did
There
not
was
look
some
prepared.
boneheaded decisions on
Bonehead-
Dan Campbell's end.
Well, when your kicker
That-
misses an extra point and you know he's got no range, like I don't kill him for going for it on fourth. I really
yeah, but
don't.
that fake
The
punt,
fake
dude,
punt was a disaster. Like, what were you
Yeah.
thinking? Punt it away, live to fight another day. Absolutely. But, when you have no kicker, you have to do these things, right? And that goes back up to the front office. Like, you got to really figure that position out. It's like baseball. I say it all the time. I would rather lose my ace pitcher than lose my closer if my closer's that good, right? In the Mets case, Edwin Diaz. That was a disaster because I could game plan for not having my best receiver out there. I could game plan for losing a corner or a running back. What I can't game plan for is missed extra points. I can't game plan for being down 2 points with 2 seconds left. You can't game plan for shit like that. You need your kicker to be there. And the Lions didn't have that. And who I'm really most upset with right now is the big head coaching candidate, Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson, you know your line's not blocking. You know guys are dropping passes. And you know Jared does not have his A game right now. Hasn't had it. You need to simplify the offense and get the ball to the receivers as quick as possible. And your run game's working. You got to fall back on that. You got to lean on that. And instead, you get cute. You're trying to throw the ball 40 yards down the field on 3rd and 1. Get the first down.
Yeah.
Where are our priorities?
Especially with David Montgomery. Like, when you have David Montgomery and fucking Jahmyr Gibbs back there, run the ball. It's 3-1. Run the ball.
Run the ball. You're down. There was multiple points where we're down by 8 points or we're down by 3, down by 7. Like this game is not lost, but you're coaching like we're down by 30. Like simplify the game. And I hope that's what they go to because overall, there's a lot of Lions fans. And like, let me tell you something, man, no matter what team you root for, if you're looking for instant validation, go pick up knitting or crochet, like pick up something else. Don't watch professional sports if you're looking for instant validation because these are professionals playing other professionals. And sometimes the better team loses. That happens.
Yeah.
That happens, right? So people need to understand that. Lions fans especially, we've been down in the dumps since probably, I don't know. I mean, really bad since 2016. Like, we have a good team. These past 2 weeks don't change my mind about this team. This is a very good Lions team that have had a bad couple of weeks. When the Niners lost 3 in a row, did anyone think that they didn't have it? Right? Because they looked pretty damn good last night.
They were being questioned. We were actually not.
We were. A little bit.
People on this show were questioning the San Francisco 49ers. I was staunchly behind them, saying, "Nope, you're wrong. Brock Purdy's a good quarterback. They are a good team, and like you said, they'll figure it out." And guess where they are now? They're figuring it out. And I hear you. It's funny that you say this because my whole thing was I was going to come into today's show or even Sunday's show. I also was hoping we were going to have more than just you and I, but here we are. I was going to say, listen, we have to have a conversation about this because this is now 3 weeks in a row where they've either won by the skin of their teeth or got the doors blown off them. And granted, like yesterday wasn't really incredibly bad. It wasn't.
Stevie, thank you for tuning in. Sorry, Jerry.
You too, Stevie Mac. You too. No.
Thank you for tuning in, Stevie.
It wasn't necessarily a 40-3 blowout like the Cowboys Giants were, but like, when you're a team like this, when you're at the top of the heap like you guys are, like you should be handily beating teams, let alone the Packers. And I guess you guys always play hard against the Seahawks. It's always a bad game for you guys. I mean, not the Seahawks. Who did you guys play last week?
The Bears.
Yeah.
The Bears.
So
that's where they lost they won by the skin of their teeth.
But the week before that too, you hit the walk-off
Chargers
cover the 2.5. Yeah.
Yeah. But they put up but that week is different because the offense did their job. The offense threw up 41 points. The defense once again failed, right? Which we kind of knew that. It's concerning.
You can't play in your own division. That's the most concerning thing about this. You lost to the Packers. You barely beat the Bears. I mean, the Vikings are kind of here and there for you guys. Like you got to be better in a very subpar division. I want to see you guys be better, and it sucks. This is how it's going.
And I'll say this: like we in New York, we watched the Giants win 2 Super Bowls. When like this time of year, both times people thought they were dead.
Yeah.
Right. Like people thought they were dead. The first time in 2007, they were a wild card team. 2011, I believe that they won the division that year. I remember they beat the shit out of the Falcons. But like the point is that it's not the end of the world, but you also need to figure it out. You need to figure it out now because like December is the push, right? Like December is where that's where you start to figure out if you're going to make noise in January or you're going to be one and done. And you don't want to have all this pop and circumstance and this fanfare to host the first ever playoff game at Ford Field and you lay an egg. Like that can't happen. That can't happen. You lose in the divisional to the 49ers or the Eagles or the Cowboys, people will accept that. They'll just say, hey, you know what? There was deficiencies. We had a great season. Let's build on it next year. But you can't come out in the wild card and lose to the Seahawks or the Vikings or like that. That absolutely cannot happen. And I'll leave it at this. This to me goes right back to the Lions and the trade deadline and basically standing pat. Like you basically looked around and you looked at Chase Young. You looked at Chase Young and you said, we don't need that. We don't need that. We're good. We'll make this work. And you know what? James Houston's coming back. C.J. Gardner-Johnson should be coming back soon. So, like, you're going to get help on your defense, no doubt. Is that going to be enough? Is it? Because I'm looking at the other side of the country. I'm looking at the team I watched last night in San Francisco. And Chase Young, not that he directly has, I think he might just have one sack for the Niners. But since he's gotten there, that defensive front has sacked the quarterback 15 times in 3 games.
Yeah, because now they actually have to block. Instead of just double teaming Bosa and call it a night and letting that be that, now they have to disperse their offensive line against the defensive line, and whoever has the weakest one-on-one matchup is just going to dominate and get back there. They're going to try to overcompensate, and then somebody else. Like it's strong. But to the Lions' credit, though, you guys, the problem for you guys on defense is not up top. It's on the skills positions here. You guys don't have any corners to lock that. Like Christian Watson.
No, you have Cam Sutton. You have Cam Sutton.
Christian Watson shouldn't be slicing and dicing through your secondary.
No, but if you don't rush If you don't, Jordan Love's not very good. But if you're not getting in his face, he's going to beat you. Any quarterback. Once you get to the NFL, or if you are an NFL level quarterback and you've got 5, 6, 7 seconds to throw, you're going to dice up any. I don't care if Deion Sanders is back there. Corners can't cover for 10 seconds. That's not their job. The pass rush is supposed to get there. And I love Aiden. He's not playing his best, but he's the only guy out there. And it goes right back to the deadline. All Chase Young would have cost you was a third. He was traded for a third. So if you threw in a fourth or a fifth, you probably would have gotten him. And maybe we're having a different discussion here. So that's that. And I love this front office. They have drafted so well. I mean, all the Lions' best players are like under the age of 25. They are all products of the draft.
Yeah.
And that is hats off to Brad Holmes. But you did shit your pants at the deadline. Like, you looked around and you said, nope, we're good. And you're not. And it came back to bite you in the ass. And if we're at Ford Field, come January, and we lose to the Niners, like, I'm just going to sit there and go, like, that's why. That's why you lost to them. They're not much better than you. Brock Purdy's not infinitely more talented than Jared Goff. Our receivers are damn good.
Are you going to go to that game?
No, I'm not going to be able to.
No.
It's going to be so expensive. Airfare, hotel, forget it. It's, no. But, listen, that's where they're at. Figure it out by next week. You figure it out, and then you're 9-3. Things look up. But
who do you have next week?
Next week is the Saints, and I think they're in New Orleans for that.
That's a good get right win.
If you win,
Yeah.
right? The Bears were the get right game. Like some of these other games were get right games, and so let's see. But once again, it's the NFL. These things happen. Jerry, you have anything else on this game?
No, other than just the fact that it ruined my day gambling. But
I had the opposite. I discovered teasers yesterday.
Oh, really? Teasers, dude. Teasers been they hit good.
They've been.
What did you tease?
I was down $220 yesterday morning in my book, and I woke up 126. So
nice.
I teased shit that actually didn't even need to be. I teased the Niners over, and that did need to be teased because the Niners game, I think I was able to get it to 41, and I think the over under was like, what was it, 47?
47,
yesterday?
yeah,
right.
Something like
so
that.
I was able to get it down, and I teased everything. I teased the Cowboys game. I teased the Cowboys spread. I didn't even need to do that. But listen, money's money. We're happy to win it. That is one thing I did win on a straight bet. I hit the Lions Packers over because I was not comfortable with that spread at all.
It was especially how the game went. That was a really hefty spread. But on that, while we're talking about misread spreads, it's wild to me how comfortable, let's call it, Vegas is with the Dallas Cowboys. Like, they're a great team, don't get me wrong. And I'm eating my words kind of here. I still think they are fraudulent. I still think they will not do anything past January 15th or whenever MLK Day is, whenever Super Wild Card Weekend is. But the fact that they were 13-point favorites over the Commanders, and the Commanders gave them a run for their money. That game was not a blowout by any means of the words. The Commanders were playing all right. They weren't going to win.
45-10. That's a blowout.
Oh, is that what it finished?
45-10. Wow. Yeah.
Jerry's got to do his homework. It's a good.
Jerry's got to do some homework.
Jesus Christ, I didn't see that. I stopped watching when it was, I think, like 24-10 or something like that. Like it was like a competitive game, and then I got sucked into watching some family movies on the couch. So I said, all right, I'll miss this game because fuck the Cowboys. I'll catch the Seahawks-Niners game. But all right, I stand corrected. They covered 13. I'll go fuck myself. Never mind.
You should definitely go fuck yourself. Yeah.
Fuck the Cowboys, though.
That was a good game. That was a fun game to bet on if you had the Cowboys. It's a lot of scoring. I think the Cowboys almost hit the over themselves. I think the over under for that game, it was somewhere in the 40s, and they put up.
What
45.
happened? The Commanders were giving them a good fight in the first.
Commanders played.
Quarters.
They played a really tough. They played a really tough first half, and then played a nice tough first half, and then Cowboys just They got a pick six. They started hitting guys over the top. Dak sliced and diced them. Yeah, pretty good. But Commanders are a bad team. They're a really, really, really bad team.
Yeah.
That might be. I don't think that's the worst team in the NFL, but it's not far off. The better game was Seahawks Niners.
This is a good game. Yeah. That was a good game. I'm happy I stayed up for it. That was a great game.
Some of the warts are starting to show on Geno a little bit. But the Niners are a very good team. Like that's a very difficult team to play.
To Geno's credit, though, like you said, like the Niners are really good, and Geno was hitting DK Metcalf with some really crisp passes down the sideline that he was coming down with, and you can give DK, his like I guess the credit there for coming down with, I don't want to say incatchable balls, but like tough catches to make, but they're connecting, and he's okay, and the Seahawks are doing fine too.
They've been, I think this is now 2 games they lost. They lost that game to the Rams where like they had no business losing that game.
Yeah.
And that killed me from a betting standpoint. I want to see what Geno turned it over once, and I want to say someone fumbled. Wasn't Geno, but somebody fumbled on that team. Dallas, whoever that guy is. DJ Dallas. That's a funny picture he's got. So, yeah, I mean, turnovers will kill you. The Niners are a team that don't turn it over. They may not always bring their A game, but they will not turn the ball over. They're very secure, and that's a team that could just bang you over the head.
Yeah, they're just complete. That's what the 49ers are. They are a complete football team in all facets of the game. They have good lines. They have good special teams. They have good skills players. It's just. They have if one area of the ball is lacking, another area of the ball is going to make it up, and they're going to find a way to win.
And there's such an opportunistic defense. They just find a way. They find these funky ways of like making you fumble on a punt or, popping the ball up in the air and snagging it. Like that's what they do. That's what they do. They're very good at it. So it's tough. It's tough to beat a team like that. It's really tough beating a team like the Niners. They're just sound. They're very sound. Like there's nothing that they don't do well. Like they're not the best. I don't know if they're number one in any specific category, which they might be. But like there's no aspect of their game that's like a true weakness. Right? Like as good as let's say the Cowboys are, at times, Dak Prescott is definitely a weakness of that team, right? Or, honestly, that head coach, Mike McCarthy, implodes at times, right?
Yeah, for sure.
The Seahawks are a really good team, but once again, they're another team that at times fails to put up points, right? Like they fail to do what they're supposed to do offensively, and that's what stunts their growth. The Lions are a really good team, but can't find a way to sack the quarterback, can't find a way to turn the ball over on defense. The Niners, like there is no aspect of that team that you look at and you see that's a weakness and we can hone in on that. There really isn't. Purdy had some down weeks, but overall, he's a hell of a quarterback. That kid threads the needle, and he's mobile. He's mobile as hell. That kid moves around so well.
You don't gotta tell me.
Yeah,
I'm Brock Purdy's biggest defender. That's my guy. I have him on like 3 fantasy teams.
Yeah. So listen, they're real good, and my focus as a Lions fan would be to have a better record than them at the end of the year because I don't want to. If we have any chance at beating them, it's got to be in our building. It has to be. I don't want to go all the way out there. They have a legitimate home field advantage. The fans get loud. They are rowdy. So
that's like not super duper crazy far-fetched here because much like the rest of the NFL, and this has been a recurring theme on the show for sure, like these teams are human these days. There's no like superpower team this year, I feel like. The Niners have 3-4 losses, right? And like the Chiefs, I mean the Eagles and the Chiefs, I guess those are like the two big ones this year. But I could definitely see the Niners dropping our 2 games down the stretch and kind of get that. If you guys win out from where you are, like it might happen.
Oh, we're not winning out. We're definitely not winning out. Is that my dog under the table? I have no idea where my dog is right now. Um, if if the Lions go 4-2, the rest, there's 6 more games left. If they're at 8 wins. You go 4-2. You end the season with 12 wins. I'd be happy with that, right? We got to play the Vikings twice. They got to play the Cowboys. So,
I could see the Niners. The Niners might drop 3. They have the Eagles next week. They play the Ravens late in December, and then they play the Rams for the last game of the season. McVay has what's his name, Shanahan's number. So I think I wouldn't be surprised if the Niners drop 3 more games out of the 6 left, and you guys kind of get a little more closer as far as standing goes, which to help your cause.
yeah.
I wouldn't rule that out. That wish out so far. I want to see what your guys' rest of the schedule looks like.
We got the Saints, 2 against the Vikings, Dallas,
Saints, Bears, Broncos, Vikings, Cowboys, Vikings. All right. I mean,
I could definitely see 2 more losses in there. I hope not 3. I'd like to. I mean, the way that this season's played out, I'd really like to see them win 12 games.
You're probably going to split against the Vikings, and then
That's
I'd
what
say
I think.
and then I mean, I don't want to sit here and rule the Cowboys game an automatic loss because Lord knows with that team, if you can catch the Cowboys on a down day, you're money. But there's no guarantee there. So I'd say probably at least 2 losses. You're right.
Yeah, I hope. Listen, if they end at 12 and 5, I'm happy with that. And wherever the chips fall, they fall. If we happen to be a 3 seed because of it, then so be it, man. Like the Niners are really good, and the Eagles are a juggernaut. The Eagles are a buzzsaw. Like it's just there's no way around it.
No, for sure.
But it. Let's see what December looks like. That's how I would phrase it. But if you're a fan, you're a Lions fan, and you're jumping off the bridge after yesterday, I'm sorry. Like there's nothing I could do. There's nothing I could do to help you.
Because it's against the Packers.
It hurts. Yeah, like you could be hurt. You could be upset. You could scream at the TV. I mean, fuck, I did. But if you're like genuinely looking at other Lions fans like, see, same old Lions. The same old Lions don't get this far. The same old Lions. We have not been 8-3 since like 1962. So this ain't same old Lions. This is not your father's Lions. So if you're jumping off after this, you should just stay off, man. You should really just find something else to do. I'm not one to tell people how to be a fan, but like find something else to do with your time, because if you can't be happy, like imagine you're a Jet fan. You'd love to be 8-3 right now. You'd love to be 8-3 and just lost a game to the Packers on Thanksgiving. Like a lot of fans would kill to be where the Lions are right now. So if you're really complaining, find something else to do with your time, man.
Dude, I'm 4-6, and I'm still holding out hope for a wild card position. I'm the wrong guy to look at here. I'm very much still a glass half full guy.
Yeah. Well, speaking of glass half full, we have a game that starts in 3 minutes. Where
Tim
are
Boyle
you?
Time, baby.
Where are you at on this?
All right, so I think we're making the right choice here. I've said this now 3 weeks in a row. This game dictates how the rest of our season goes. Well, this game's going to dictate how the rest of our season goes. And we're going to see what we can do with Tim Boyle. If Tim Boyle is going to be the second coming of Mike White or not. I personally don't think so. I'm the only reason I'm scared about this now is because now the Dolphins have a defense. The Dolphins' defense has been playing pretty okay. They got Jalen Ramsey back. He's playing like Jalen Ramsey of old. They're firing on all cylinders. They're figuring it out. So I really don't know. But also at the same time, things can't really get much worse. I think I know, and we poked fun about it in the group chat last weekend too. But like, I still say that like Zach's game on Sunday wasn't the greatest, and this is it's definitely time for a shakeup. But I still don't think anyone's going to succeed, whether it's Zach Wilson, Tim Boyle, or Aaron Rodgers. I don't give a fuck who it is between the coaching, the offensive line, and your superstar wide receivers dropping balls that are totally catchable. Like, there's just nothing we're going to be able to do here. So I'm curious to see what's going to happen. I think there is a lot of behind-the-scene drama that's not coming out. I don't know if you saw the notification. Alan Lazard was healthy scratch today. And like and people on Twitter are just not happy about him and everything he's done. So that's a whole thing. We're paying him $11 million to fucking sit on the sideline. But yeah, I don't know.
One of my buddies, I'm not gonna. Maybe he'll want to talk. Yeah, I don't want to mention him. But a buddy of mine from the Detroit area is obviously where Robert Salah is from. I don't know what part of Michigan, but he's somewhere up there. And supposedly, a lot of people that are friends with his family, that have spoken to his family, the rumor up in Detroit is that Salah is not happy with that organization. He's not happy with his job and is probably out at the end of the year. Like
so. Yeah, off of that, dude, I've been starting to read a little bit. Like, I don't have an inside scoop like you do, but there's inklings on Twitter here that says like he was thinking it wasn't him who was saying let's stick with Zach Wilson. He was doing it in solidarity with the team and the front office and everything. But people are saying he was being told to do that. He did not want to do that, but he was being told to do that, which I get. But like, so, but also at the same time, like. People are sick of his shit too. He's not innocent in all this stuff. He's the head coach, and the crow's flying this way. He's reading speeches off his iPhone that way. Like, he's not. If it's gonna end like this, okay, fine. Let's just fucking blow it up and start it over. But you know what's gonna happen? They're gonna give the keys to Hackett for the next 2 years, and Aaron Rodgers is gonna retire, and we're gonna still fucking suck.
Yeah. Well. You think Rodgers plays 2 more years?
I do. Bearing another injury next year, I think he comes back. I think he plays a good one. I said, I think we can do this, and I think we go. I think we see him go out like 6-11, like fucking Tom Brady did last year, type deal. You know. I think we get a playoff run next year, and I think we see him great. I think we see him playing well, and I think it's like, all right, let's do it again. Comes back, and then just like, oh, okay. Father Time is called. It's over. But he's on that stem cell shit, so Lord knows he's going to be doing adrenochrome with Cher. You saw Cher at the Thanksgiving Day parade. That chick is 87 years old. She looks like she's like 50. So
Cher's 87?
I don't know if that's the exact number, but Cher's old as fuck.
She's got to be like 70. She's probably 70.
No, she's older than that. How old? Actually, hold on.
She's got to be like 70. 72, 73.
87's a stretch. She's 77. So she's a little younger than I thought she was, but
she moves.
That's what I'm saying.
She moves pretty well.
She's drinking adrenochrome. She's on that same thing that Aaron Rodgers is about to be on, so Lord knows.
You think she's still fucking?
Probably
not appropriate for this show, but like just came up in my head. Like is Cher fucking?
She's a sexual icon, so I would not be surprised. That's like part of like her whole spiel is like she's like a big time sexual icon type deal.
Yeah, I wonder what that looks like. I'm a sick fuck. Dolphins are coming to town. They are playing better defense. But
I'm not going to lie, though. Don't be surprised if we win this game. Do not be surprised.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, the Dolphins shit the bed down the stretch every year. Yeah. Like, and it's the running joke is when the weather gets colder, like, the Dolphins start to fuck up. So
it ain't that warm today. It's 45 degrees by me.
Oh, no, it's a warm 45. I just put up Mom's Christmas lights and shorts. Yeah, 100%. Put up my Christmas. I actually, did everything. Did my house, did Mom's house. Woke up a little too late. That's why we're coming to you at 3 p.m. So what's your official prediction on this game?
I think we win, but I'm not touching it. I do think we win. I think Tim Boyle pulls it up. I don't know how this is going to happen. Did you? What'd you get it at?
I honestly should have teased it. I hope I don't make the same mistake. I took the Dolphins at -2. I had the option of either taking Dolphins at -2 or taking the Jets at plus like 15. But I was worried, like, if the Jets come out and just do nothing offensively and the Dolphins, like, put up 20, whatever, 30 something points. Like, I don't
So
know.
the only reason that's not going to happen is because the Dolphins have not played a defense like the Jets this year. And granted, the Jets defense has been slipping because they're kind of in fucking mode themselves. The Jets defense is still the Jets defense. I wouldn't they're not playing the Broncos this week. We might suck, but this is going to be far from that Broncos 70-point football game.
Right. Well, I also think the Broncos have come a long way from that.
Sure.
Like, the Broncos are. Listen, I'd like to see what their odds are to make the playoffs. Like, that's probably something.
They might catch a wild card spot.
They really could.
Them and the Vikings, both teams turn it around.
Yeah, definitely. What's gonna hurt the Vikings? Well, what could either help them or hurt them is we still have to play them twice. So like I really, if we win anything, what I'm really honed in on, I'm prioritizing obviously the Bears game and those 2 Vikings games. Like, in a way, I could, not that I could give a shit about that Cowboys game, but it's much more important that we beat the Vikings twice than it is to beat the Cowboys once.
No,
like, I'd rather lose to the Cowboys and sweep the Vikings, 100%.
And if you can do that, you're gonna finish the season 5-1, 4-1, whatever you have left.
6 left.
So you'll finish 5-1 because I see you guys losing to the Cowboys and splitting the Vikings. But if you can beat the Vikings twice, you're gonna be sitting real fucking pretty.
Yeah, 100%. So, yeah, let's see. So your official prediction today, going back to the Jet game, you think the Jets win, but you don't. You have that feeling, but you're not throwing the money line.
It's just kind of just like, all right, you know what? Fuck it. Let's see it. Let's just do it. Let's just play. It's Black Fridays. It's never happened before. Let's just play a football game, and maybe Tim Boyle throws up a couple of gems, and 17 decides to actually come down with it. Who knows? Spread the wealth a little bit.
He's got to get his head out of his ass.
Let's maybe finally take the reins off of Breece Hall and run the goddamn ball with an elite running back in the backfield.
Yeah,
maybe
control the pace of the game.
Yeah, the weapons are there, and they're just not being utilized in the correct way. So maybe Tim Boyle's to shake up the offensive needs because I think a lot of people got really sick of backing Zach Wilson. They tried their hardest. I just don't think he was just. I think they realized probably somewhere around week, 7 or 8. They're like, all right, fine. This is just. I think probably after that Eagles loss, probably during that Raiders game, even though Zach Wilson didn't play all that bad during the Raiders game, but it was just like, all right, I think we need to change something up on offense now. So we'll see what happens. Tim Boyle looked all right when he came in towards the end of that Bills game. I think he had a pick or two, and it was fine. But at that point, the Bills were playing pee-wee football. They were just having fun out there, so I'm not going to hold that against him. He was ice cold off the bench. I want to see how he does in a full 4-quarter football game.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think that this is it for Zach Wilson's football career.
He's going to be selling solar panels.
I think he will. I ain't kidding. I don't
even think he's going to be a backup.
I don't think he'll be a backup somewhere, man. Maybe someone next year will bring him into camp. But I personally don't see it. I know it's like a running joke with Mets and Jets fans and Yankee fans with an extent of the guy didn't work out here and watch, he's going to go over there and hit 50 home runs and everyone's going to buy his jersey and whatever, blah, blah, blah. I just don't see that with him. I think Zach Wilson's career is fucking done. I think it's over. I think after this season.
We'll see. They said the same about Darnold to an extent,
But Darnold was never this much of a disaster. Darnold was fell short of the way that I would describe Sam Darnold as a Jet was he fell short of expectations. He was drafted very high. If Sam Darnold was drafted in the 4th round, he'd still be here. Let's be honest with each other. He'd still be here, right? The issue is that he was drafted really high and was expected to jump right in and be the savior. And that just wasn't going to happen after 1 year at USC.
Yeah.
I think and Darnold did not have the talent that Wilson, Wilson's got.
Yes.
No, but Wilson's got pure talent. Wilson in a t-shirt and shorts could throw the ball anywhere you want. When the United States is figuring out that flag football team, Zach Wilson's your guy. Zach Wilson's your guy. If no one's going to hit him, he's your guy. Absolutely. But it's another ball game when you got to put on pads and a helmet, and a guy's in your face and he wants to rip your neck off, rip your head off your neck. So I just don't see it with him. I think it's all mental. Until he gets over that mental aspect, and maybe it would be wise if the Jets, while he's still under contract, to send him somewhere to where he
Who
can
the fuck is going to trade? We'll get a 5th-round pick. We'll get shit in return.
No, you're going to have to cut him. You're going to have to cut him. But while he's under contract, it would make sense to maybe send him somewhere. Like a, I don't know, did you ever see Doctor Strange? Not Doctor Strange. Yeah, Doctor Strange, right? It's a Marvel one?
Yeah.
Where he's locked away in some dojo in the mountains of China or some shit. That's where you got to send him. You just got to clear his head and not have a phone or a laptop or access to technology for a 6-month period. I'm at that point with him because
send him to a darkness retreat. Him and Aaron.
He might. I don't know. He'd handle that one, but I don't know. They got to do something with him. So that's my take on Zach Wilson.
That's the one bad thing about football is that there's no minors. And you'd send him. If this was baseball, you would have sent him down to AAA 2 years ago.
But even then, though, it wouldn't help because it's not a physical issue; it's a mental issue. He's got these mental blockades he's got to get through. I think because he makes throws. He makes throws on the run across the field that 90% of NFL quarterbacks cannot do. Jared Goff cannot do that. But Jared Goff will always have a job in the league, whether it be a backup or a starter, because he's a competent quarterback that typically, minus the last 2 games, doesn't turn the ball over, makes good decisions. Zach doesn't do that. But he's got physical attributes.
Do you think he goes on to become the greatest quarterback in XFL history, not named Taylor Heineke?
No, I don't think. First of all, Zach is not a guy that's going to go play somewhere for $500,000. That's just not going to happen, right? Zach has a standard of living, I believe, that does not come up to par with. No, he's got to get through these mental barriers, man. Some kind of psychologist, someone's got to work with him. Because I fucking know the talent's there. I know a damn good quarterback when I see one. And Zach physically is a damn good quarterback, man. He could sling it. He could sling it just like anybody else. And he could run around the field just like anybody else. He's plenty mobile. It's all right here for him. And that's it. That's it on Zach. That's where I stand on it. It's sad. It is the saddest thing in the world because this is a guy that could take a team anywhere if he was in the right state of mind. You put Aaron Rodgers' head in Zach Wilson's body, and the Jets are probably 9-1, 8-3, whatever, however that would work out. Yeah, 1,000%. 1,000%. The reason the Jets look this bad right now is because is genuinely because of the lack of play at the quarterback position, and it's bringing everyone down. It's bringing your receivers down because they know they're not getting the ball. It's bringing the running back down because they know they're down in games, and now they're not getting the ball anymore because you have to put the ball in the air. It's bringing your defense down because your defense is on the field the whole fucking time, and it's definitely bringing that front office and coaching staff down because there's got to be a bunch of mixed opinions and a lot of thoughts in that building, and no one can agree. That's why Zach's been on the field for so long. In most other places, Zach would have been yanked much earlier. But clearly, somebody very important wants him on the field. And I don't know who that is.
It's probably
is it Douglas?
It's probably Woody. It's probably Woody.
Is it Woody? Because I had heard, and I was called there's some fucking dick on Twitter. I was in a fucking Twitter space with this kid Justin. I don't know his fucking name. That's his fucking thing. That's his name, Justin something. And I had proposed it. I had said, I heard from some rumors that Zach Wilson was not Douglas's guy. That was Woody Johnson's guy. And that's why he was drafted. And I was literally cursed out of the space and told to leave because I said that. This kid Justin said, no, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. You're a Lions fan. You're not. I'm like, dude, I live in New York. I listen to WFAN. I know. This is just, I'm not saying that I know for a fact. I'm saying I heard it, and I'm proposing that maybe Zach Wilson was not everyone's guy. Maybe somebody that's very important, that cuts the checks, wanted that guy. It's the same thing with the Browns. Nobody wanted Johnny Manziel. Nobody. But Jimmy Haslam wanted him, and that's what they did with their first round pick.
Yeah.
There's a reason Johnny Manziel fell so far. Everybody knew he was just a college. He was immature. He was a college kid. He had problems. Same with Zach. No, there was not this big thing. Was like it was. I don't know. Personally, I don't blame Douglas. I don't think it was Douglas. I think it was Woody Johnson, and that's why they were in this mess. Because why else? Why else would Zach have survived this long? Why was he still on the field?
Yeah. Especially after last year. And you love to hear Pacino go back to it, where we were both at that one Jaguars game that was supposed to be basically what Sunday was in Buffalo, so poor guy had to go through it twice. Kind of sucks, but yeah. It just goes to show you that sometimes, actually, no, not sometimes. It's like the fucking Dan Snyder thing that we talked about at nauseum when he sold the team earlier in the season. Like, when that's not your job, stay the fuck away from that, or else your team's going to suffer. Look at the Commanders. Look at the Browns. Like you said, look at all these teams whose owners step in and really mandate, like, no, I want this guy. This is who we want. No, let your fucking scouts do that. Let your president.
You hire people to do those things.
Exactly.
You hire people to do those things. There's a hierarchy. Listen, God rest his soul, but William Clay Ford did that for years in Detroit. Years. The scouts, the general manager, everybody would do their homework, and William would walk in on draft night and just say, no, that's the guy. Like, that's demoralizing, And listen, me personally, if I was a front office guy, if I was a scout, that would be it. I'd hand in my key card, hand in my company phone, and say, if that's how this is going to work, I don't want my name tied to this anymore.
Yeah.
I don't want my name tied to this. I'm done. And, you saw it in many years ago with the Colts, when they were still the Baltimore Colts. Ernie Accorsi, I think, right? Ernie Accorsi, I think was his name. He ended up being the Giants general manager when they won in 2007. But they were so convinced. So the Colts were a mess of an organization at the time. And they said that the rumors were that they wanted to draft John Elway. And John Elway publicly said, because he was also a baseball player, he said, if you guys draft me, I'm going to baseball. Like, I don't want to play for you. I'm not going to play for you. I'll just go play baseball. And he had a meeting with George Steinbrenner and the Yankees. And, like, a lot of people thought it was a publicity stunt. And Ernie Accorsi had met with John Elway, and John's like, this is not a publicity stunt. I love both sports. I'm telling you right now, I'm going to go play baseball if you guys draft me. And Ernie did the right thing. Ernie was like, all right, listen, I need you to, like, relax, and I need you to not say that you don't want to play for the Colts. I need you to say that you don't want to play in cold weather, and we're in Baltimore and it's cold. I need you to do that for me, and I'm going to work out a deal with someone. Like, I'm going to figure this out, but I need you every time you're questioned to just tell the media you don't want to play in cold weather. Like, that was something like that. And so that's what he did. And long story short, I don't remember what happened on draft day if the Colts actually drafted, but I remember Ernie, of course, he left because Jim Irsay's dad was like, Ernie, I don't care what you think. We're drafting Elway. And he's like, you're going to waste his pick. This guy's not coming to us. And at the end of the meeting, Ernie said, okay, I can't be a part of this anymore. If you, like, I'm going through all these back channels to find a way out of this and to figure this out. If you can't meet me halfway, I can't work for you anymore. And he left. And that's the right thing to do. And that's what I kind of think. This brings us back to the Jets. I think something like that's going on right now in Florham Park, 100%, because Zach Wilson should not still be on the field. I mean, and he's not. He's no longer. But it kind of took you guys to throw away your season. And Josh Dobbs was out there. And I know Pacino said it, but Josh Dobbs was out there. And I don't think Josh Dobbs is great. And I think there's a reason he's been traded so many times. But Josh could have bought you guys 3 or 4 weeks.
Josh Dobbs was a Jet. We had him. It was Michael. We had him when we had Flacco. We had him like 2 years ago, I think it was. He won two games for the Jets. Yeah, he won 2 games for the Jets.
He was not on the Jets.
Pretty sure he was.
I don't think he was. Look that up. I don't think he was. That's nuts. I think he was drafted. When was he drafted? 21?
Nope, wrong again. I don't know. We had a quarterback who he was also a journeyman. He wasn't drafted. He was a Steeler in 2017. He got drafted. He was there for 2 years, and he went to Jacksonville. Then he went back to the Steelers. Browns. He was a Lion.
He was a Lion for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Practice
Titans,
squad.
Browns, Cardinals, Vikings. Nope, wasn't a Jet. I was wrong. I apologize.
Maybe you're thinking of Josh Johnson.
Yeah, too. That's who I think. And then he was from the Ravens, right?
Josh Johnson, no, he was. I know he was in Washington for a period of time. But all right, Jerry, I think we might be rambling here.
It's Josh Johnson.
Do we have anything else here on this Jets game?
No, let's get in front of a TV and go watch them win.
All right. Hey, thanks. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We will see you Sunday, 10, 11. We'll figure that out, but it'll be out on the socials. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for supporting. Stevie Mac, you're the best, man. Thank you so much, Stevie Mac. You're in on every stream. Clearly, you got your notifications on because when we're in those oddball hours, you're always in the chat, and we appreciate you, Stevie. So thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see you Sunday.
See you guys.